Right, good evening to everyone. Today we are going to discuss the last part of the factorizing lesson. We were discussing how we are going to factorize the things if they have given an algebraic expression, how to take the common factor out. And other than that, at last we learned if we have a quadratic expression, that means something with a square, x square or something like that. If there is something like that with three parts, that means a trinomial expression, a trinomial quadratic expression, how we are going to factorize that part we learned previously, right? So today we are going to learn another step how we are going to factorize. So before I start that, I will just revise the binomial expressions part. Can you remember the binomial expressions? The expressions which has two parts, that means two algebraic terms together, that means the addition, that means the sum, or the difference, that means the subtraction symbol. If two algebraic terms are connected with a plus mark or a minus mark, we are taking that as a binomial expression, right? So such binomial expressions, if we are going to multiply two binomial expressions, let's take a simple example like this. Here, if we have x plus y and x minus y, just look at this, right? If we have two binomial expressions like this, between these two we can't see any symbol, that means two brackets are connected together. We are calling this, and this is a multiplication. That means the binomial expression x plus y should get multiplied by x minus y. Right. So this part we learned previously. We have two parts. That means two algebraic terms here, x and plus y. So first of all, we are going to multiply this expression, the binomial expression x minus y by x, and then by plus y. So this is the thing that we are going to do. So from this x, we are going to multiply the expression x minus y. This is the first part. From this x, we are going to multiply the expression x minus y. And then from this plus y also, we should multiply the same thing, that means the same expression x minus y, right? So let's multiply now. The first thing that we should do is from this x should be multiplied, and from this x, this minus y should be multiplied. And after that, from this plus y, this x should be multiplied, and then finally plus y should get multiplied by minus y. So x into x, we can take it as x squared, that means x to the power 2, and x into y, it is xy, xy. This is a positive one. This term is positive. Here we have plus and here we have minus. So plus into minus, different symbol. So the answer will be minus when we are multiplying, right? So minus xy will come. And here y into x. Y into x means yx, right? A positive number is getting multiplied by x also is a positive term. So positive term into positive term, it is positive because the same thing will get multiplied. That means the same sign will get multiplied by the same sign. So finally plus y into minus y into y, it is y squared, plus into minus, the sign is different, so it will be minus y squared. So here when you receive something like this, here you can identify, here you have xy and here you have yx. Both are same, right? We discussed this in binomial expressions, both are same, right? X into y. අර මම කියලා දුන්නේ. දැන් අර O level results කියද්දි මම කියනවා I have 8 A's and 1 C කියලා. I have 8 A's and 1 C. The same thing without telling a different one, the same thing I can tell. I have 1 C and 8 A's. තේරුණානේ කතාව? අනේ මේ විදියට මේකේ xy කියන එකයි yx කියන එකයි දෙන්න එකම තමයි මේ ඉන්නේ. That means these two are equal. That means the actual thing is x getting multiplied by y, it is xy. Y getting multiplied by x, the same two terms will get multiplied, right? X and y are getting multiplied and we write it as xy. Y and x are, those are getting multiplied, so we are writing it as yx. So the same thing. So we can write this yx also like xy. I told you that when we are multiplying two terms, you can use any letter. So here we can take minus xy plus xy. So finally x squared will be x squared and y squared will be y squared. I just wrote the yx as xy. So no problem. You know 2 into 3 it is 6. 3 into 2 also it is 6. So the same thing, the same value will be there. So I can write this yx also as xy because multiplying two terms, the same two terms, x and y got multiplied, y and x got multiplied. So you can write it as xy or yx, whatever it is, no problem. Now you can identify here these two terms are like terms, right? These two terms are like terms. And the most important thing is this is minus xy. Minus xy means one set of xy. It is minus, so it will be minus 1 here. And here plus xy, that means a set of xy, plus means plus 1 will be here. So plus 1 and minus 1, these two will be gone off, and so the remaining will be 0. If you have 5 here and if you have 5 here, this is minus 5 and plus 5. So likewise you have minus 1 here and plus 1 here. So these two will be gone off. So the remaining parts will be x squared will be remaining here and y squared will be remaining here. Y squared is minus. So the answer we can obtain it as x squared minus y squared, right? So now if they have given something like this, right? If they have given something like this, we have just expand this and we have got the answer. That means by multiplying all these things, we have obtained the final answer as x squared minus y squared. Something like this we have obtained. Now, my dear, now what we are going to do is, right, we simplify this. If they have given a sum like this, and if they are asking us to factorize this one, if they are asking us to factorize this one, right, how we are going to factorize this? The way to factorize this will be, we should go like this, right? That means if they gives the sum like this, we should obtain this answer when they ask to factorize. Factorizing means we know it now. Factorizing, first of all, can you all remember we got the common factor out, right? Okay, and we wrote it as a product. Factorizing means we wrote it as a product. Multiplication ekak vidiyata liwuwa. So if they give something like this, here, if this is the sum, see the issue, there is a huge issue. What is it? You can't take any common factor out here, nothing to take out from these two. Nothing is common. Don't tell it, it is 2. This is not 2, this is the power of 2, square, that means x squared means x multiplied by x. So you have x here and y here. So nothing is common to take out. So we had another method, right? We had a second option. If we don't have anything to take out as a common factor, in the trinomial expressions we did something and we got 2 factors. Those were in trinomial expressions, trinomial quadratic expressions. It should be a quadratic expression and it should be trinomial. There should be 3 parts. But here, my dear, now you have only 2 parts, so you can't apply the trinomial theory for this also. So that here we are going to create a new method. So here what you can identify is, here it is a square and here also it is a square. So if we have 2 squares and middle of that we should have the minus symbol, that means the difference of 2 squares. If we have the difference of 2 squares, now this is, we are calling this the difference of 2 squares. Difference of 2 squares, right? If we have something like this, we can obtain the answer of this. It will be, we are writing it. See how we are writing it. Remove these 2. This is the easiest way to write this. No steps. You can remove the 2 squares. We are not writing the squares. We are not caring about the squares. That means power, just ignore it. Just write down this as x minus y. So this is the first factor. This is the way to obtain the factors. And the other factor, next factor will be, this is x minus 1. This minus 1, we should write it as plus. So we are writing it as x plus y. So the two factors will come like x minus y and x plus y. The same thing we will obtain when we ask to factorize. The reason to obtain this is when we are multiplying the binomial expressions and when we receive this, so we know that x plus y and x minus y will be equal to x squared minus y squared. So now we can simplify this. When they ask to factorize, we can obtain this answer. So directly we are writing the answer. The way to write the answer is just ignore the powers. Those two should be squares. On either sides, those two should be squares. We should have two squares on either sides. And middle, you should see a subtraction symbol because we should take the difference. So that's why we are calling this the difference of two squares. If we have difference of two squares, we are just ignoring the power and we are writing it as x minus y. And the other one, we are taking this minus symbol as plus, so it will be x plus y. So we can write the two factors as x minus y and x plus y. So as a product, x minus y into x plus y will be the final answer. So right? Another example, I will give you time. Right? I will give you the time to write. If you have something like this, my dear, p squared minus q squared. Now you can identify two squares on either side. And the difference, that means the minus symbol is middle. So here we have a square. Right? Okay? Square. And the minus symbol, it is also there. So we can identify this is a difference of two squares. Right? Okay? So remove all these things and just write down this as p minus q. And the other factor, this minus symbol, write it as plus, so it will be p plus q. So factorizing part, it is very easy, it is finished. That's all that you should do. Right? Take this down, right? Take this down, use two colors and write down all the things, the arrows and all the things, right? And as the first example, you can directly take this one, right? Write down very clearly. After writing all these things, after you receive this answer, just draw two lines, right? This is the answer for the simplification of this. If they have given this and asked you all to expand this, this is the way. We have learned it previously, right? In binomial expressions, I taught you all these things. Now, we know this part will be equal to this part. Because these two are, the multiplication of these two is equal to this one, we can write this one as this. That means if they have given something like this, we can write it like this. When they ask to factorize, we should write them as a product of some factors, right? Factors means writing it as a product. So here the two factors, we can obtain it like this. So nothing to do. This is the theory, right? This is how we are going to obtain this. මේක ආවේ කොහොමද කියලා මේ කියලා දුන්නා. ඒක එහෙම ආව හින්දා අපි මේක මෙහෙම ගන්නවා කියලා දුන්නා. එතකොට මේක එක්ස්ප්‍රෙෂන් එක විදිහට දැකලා ෆැක්ටරයිස් කිව්ව ගමන් අපිට ආන්සර් එක මෙහෙම එකපාර දාන්න පුළුවන්. ස්ක්වයර්ස් දෙක නැතුව x y කියලා එක ෆැක්ටර් එකක් ගන්නවා. ඒකම minus symbol එක plus කරලා x plus y කියලා අනිත් fact එක ගන්න. ඒකයි මම මෙතනදී කරේ p squared minus q squared කියලා දීපහම දෙන්නගෙම squares දෙකක් හිටියා minus symbol එකක් මැද හිටියා. difference එක ගත්තී minus symbol එකක් මැද ඉන්න ඕනේ. මේ ටික තියෙන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම තියනවා නම් මේකට අපිට කිව්ව හැකි difference of two squares කියලා. මේ මෙතනත් square එකක් මෙතනත් square එකක්. two squares තියෙන්නේ. ඒකේ difference එක තියෙන්නේ minus symbol එකක් තියෙනවා. plus තිබ්බොත් මේ වැඩේ කරන්න බෑ කියලා මේක. හරි? Right. So after that we are removing the two squares and just writing down p minus q as the first factor. And the next factor we are taking it as this minus symbol we are making it as plus and we are writing the next one as p plus q. That's all. Try කරන්න. එන්න මම නෝන් දිනනවා මේක කරන්න ගියාම ඔයාලා හදනවා. So here a squared minus b squared, if we have something like this, nothing to worry. You can write down this a minus b. This is a single factor and the other one will be a plus. ඔච්චරයි. ඔච්චරම තමයි. I think කිසි දෙයක් නැහැ. ඔච්චරම තමයි. Squares දෙක අයින් කරා a minus b කියලා ලිව්වා. එයාම plus කරා a plus b. That's all. Right? So nothing to worry. Just identify that one. So then you will be able to do these things. Take this example also. Then I will give you some sums. So you all can try. Right? Right. I will give you 5 sums. You all can try. Right? Just factorize. I'm not going to tell anything more than that. You all should just factorize. X squared minus 25. 9 minus y squared. 4x squared minus y squared in 2a squared minus 8. Right. The fifth one, five ab squared minus 125 ac square. Right. Just try these 5 sums. Just try. Just factorize. Y'all have learned these things in grade 9. Right? In grade 9 we have learned. So y'all can try, no issues. Just try. Shall I give you a support to the first one, only to the first one? Right. Just see here you have x squared and you have here 25. So my dear, now just forget everything and listen to this. When we are factorizing, now we have learned that we have only 3 steps, 3 ways to factorize. The first method is the first one that we have learned, that means taking the common factor out. If we have 2 terms, from those 2 terms we should be capable to take a common thing out. Something common, we should take it out. And by putting the brackets, we are writing the rest. So as 2 products, we can, as 2 terms, as a product, we can write down this. Right? So that is the simple method. That means the first one, taking the common factor out. And the second one, if we are unable to take the common factor out, and if it is a quadratic expression, quadratic means x square, y square, likewise some square should be there. Alright. And if it is a trinomial expression, if it consists of just 3 terms, if you have 3 terms in that, you are going to make it as 4 terms and taking 2 by 2, and you are going to simplify it, making it on the last thing. Right? Now we all are capable to do all those things. Now here the thing is, here what we are going to do is, right, After that also, if we are unable to take that as a trinomial expression, here now see, nothing to take out as a common factor in these two, here this term and this term, we can't take anything as a common term. Nothing is common. So just forget it. Finished. Okay. And then, no trinomial expressions also, though it is a quadratic one. Here you can see the square, but the thing is, you can't make it as a trinomial quadratic expression because you don't have three things, so you can't take it as trinomial expression also. So you are unable to do both those things. So the final method, this one, now today we learned it. What is it? If we have the difference of two squares, දෙපැත්තේ squares දෙකක් ඉඳලා මැදට subtraction symbol එකක් තියෙනවා නම්, right, here we can create this, my dear. This 25, we can write this one 25, we can write this one as a square. 25 will be made of 5 into 5, so 25 means 5 to the power 2, so you can take it x square minus 5 square. So here we can simplify, remove the two squares, so we can write down it as x minus 5, and the other one we can write down x plus 5. That's all. See how easy these types of sums are, right? බලන්න common factor එක එළියට ගන්න බැරි නම්, trinomial expressions දාන්න බැරි නම් එකම option එක difference of two squares. ඔච්චරයි ওই terms තුනෙන් විතරයි factorize කරන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට squares දෙකක් දෙපැත්තේ ඉන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට මේක ලියන්න එපා x minus 25 කියලා. So why 25 is not a square? So first of all, create this number as a square. After that, now you have a square here on the left hand side, and on the right hand side also you have a square. In the middle you have the subtraction symbol. So difference is there. Two squares are also there. Now okay, now you can simplify it up to this level, right? Okay. So that's all. Square right, minus x minus 5 ke liye and x plus 5 ke liye. That's all. So now you can try these 5. These 4. I have done one. Right. Do the 4 questions. Now we all can manage. If I'm doing it, it's useless. Right, you all can manage. Right, enough. See the second one? Now here you have a square, you have a minus symbol, and this is 9. So we are trying to write this 9 as a square. 9 we can write it, 9 is 3 into 3, so that means 3 to the power 2 minus 5 squared. Now when we write like this, we have two squares and the difference of it. So by removing the two powers, 3 minus y will be the first factor. And the other one, this minus symbol will get plus, so write down it as 3 plus 5. So that's all, my dear. See how easy. In this case, 2 squares are there, but 4 is also there. Don't tell that this square is related to this 4. Huh? So here you have 4x squared. 4x squared means 4 into x squared. That means x has the power of 2. Square is related only to x, not to 4. Huh? 4 is something else. We have multiplied this square number by 4, that's it. So here, actually if we expand this further, 4 into x, this is what we have. 4x, that is what we have. So you can't take the whole thing as a square. So you can't write down this as 4x minus y and 4x plus y. Likewise, you can't take the two factors. You should have two squares on either sides. Two squares කියන්නේ මේ පැත්තේ square එකක් ඉන්න ඕනේ, මේ පැත්තේ square එකක් ඉන්න ඕනේ. දැන් මේකේ මෙතන square එකක් ඉන්නවා හරි. හැබැයි මේ කැලේ square එකක් නෑනේ. So first of all, you should write down this part also as a square. So 4 you can write down it as 2 square. X square means x square minus y square. And this is the way of writing, okay? This is the way of writing. 2 to the power 2, x to the power 2 minus y to the power 2. Now here, now see this one. This 4 we have written it as 2 into 2. This one we have written it as 2 into 2. Now we have 2 into 2. 2 into 2 means 2 to the power 2. X into 2 means x to the power 2. Now my dear, now we can take this power, this one. The square is common. So 2x square, we can take it like this. Right? So here, by removing all these squares, now we have two squares. By removing all these squares, we can just write down this. Right? We can just write down this. The first factor will be 2x minus y. Right? 2x minus y. And the other factor will be 2x plus y. That's all. That's all. Finished. Right? So here it came like this. 2 into x, it is 2x. 2 into x, it is 2x. So 2x to the power of 2. 2x square is there. So we can take it like this. හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න මෙන්න මේ වැඩි. මේක ඇතුලේ ටර්ම් එකේ කී දෙනෙක් හිටියත් කමක් නැහැ. ඔක්කොම ස්ක්වයර්ස් විදියට තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඔක්කොම ස්ක්වයර්ස් විදියට තියෙන්න. ඔක්කොම ස්ක්වයර්ස් විදියට තියෙනවා නම් විතරයි difference of two squares දාන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක මේ පැත්තේ කිව්වහම මයිනස් සිම්බල් එකට කලින් ඉන්න එක්කෙනා එක්කෙනෙක්ට තිබිලා වැඩක් නැහැ. අනිත් එක්කෙනා ස්ක්වයර් එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම හිටියොත් තමයි මේකේ ඔක්කොම ස්ක්වයර් එකක් කියලා 2x ගෙම ස්ක්වයර් එක කියලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. මේකත් ස්ක්වයර් ඉන්න ඔක්කොම කැලේ ටික ස්ක්වයර්ස් විදියට ලියන්න. මොකක්ද මතක තියාගන්න. Right? You should write down all the things, all the terms as squares. And then middle of that there should be a minus symbol, that's all. Right? So we have 2x minus y. Alright, so 2x minus y. The other one now it is 2x plus y. Okay. Then try the fourth one. In this case, this is something more than this. In this case, in the fourth sum, you can identify, right? You can identify here a is a square, but we are unable to write this 2 as a square. මේ දෙක අපිට square එකක් විදියට ලියන්න බෑනේ. Now 25 we wrote it 5 into 5, so 5 square. 9 we wrote it 3 into 3, so 3 square. 4 we wrote it 2 into 2, and that means 2 square. Likewise we wrote it. But 2, what the hell is 2? 2 is, we can't take it. Eh? 2 we can't take it. Why? 2 is not a perfect square, right? It is not a perfect square. It should be a perfect square. What are perfect squares? Perfect squares means if we are multiplying a whole number by the same whole number. 1 into 1, 1. 2 into 2, 4. 3 into 3, 9. Likewise 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64. Likewise we go. If we are going to have the same number multiplying by the same number, that means square numbers, perfect squares. It should be a perfect square to write it as a square. So this 2 is not something like that, so we can't write it. So here we can't apply the method of difference of two squares. That is the actual thing. So go step by step. I told you when we are factorizing, if they have asked us to factorize, the first step that we should do is we should check whether there is a common thing, right, to take out. Here the two terms, my dear, the two terms which we have will be 2a squared and minus 8, right? So in this 2a squared and 8, both you can take 2 out as the common factor. So both these terms are divisible by 2, so I am taking 2 out. So when I take 2 out here, a squared will be remaining here and minus. From 8, when I take 2 out, don't tell it as 6. We are taking out. Taking out means as a factor we are taking out. As a product we are writing it. So divide it by 2. We are taking 2 out means this is multiplication. So we are dividing this by 2. Here also same. We divided it by 2. 2 and 2 gone off. So a squared will be remaining. Minus 8 divided by 2, it is 4. So 4 will be remaining inside. Right? Now what we have done is, now we have taken the common factor 2 out and we have written it as two products, 2 into a squared minus 4. Right? Not yet finished. Now we have factors. But here, this part also can be factorized again, this part. Alright? So here, we can write this 4. This 4, we can write it as 2 to the power 2. So 4, we can write it again as 2 to the power 2. Here we have a squared minus 2 squared. So 2 into a squared minus 2 squared will come. So here inside the bracket, you have 2 squares and the difference of it. Difference of 2 squares you have. So you will be able to write this as this one. You can factorize this and write down without carrying these 2 squares. You can write down it as a minus 2 and the other part you can write it as plus, so a plus 2. This 2 will be staying there as the common factor of both these things. So the factors, there are 3 factors for this. So we can write it 2 into a minus 2 into a plus 2. This is the way of obtaining the answer for the such questions, right? So don't worry. Don't worry. දැන් එක එක වෙනස් තමයි. හැබැයි ගානක් හදද්දි මතක තියාගන්න, you should go step by step. පළවෙනියටම බලන්නේ common fact එකක් ගන්න තියෙනවද? නැත්තම් 3 terms ඉන්නවනම් trinomial expressions දාන්න. ඒත් නැත්තම් difference of 2 squares දාන්න set වෙන්නේ. Right? ඔච්චරයි ඔයාලට options තියෙන්නේ. So try the first one, take the common factor. If there are no common factors, move to the trinomials. If it is not a trinomial one, then move to the difference of 2 squares, right? When you practice these types of sums, then දකිද්දි ආයිති බලන්න ඕනේ දකිද්දි පේනවා. එළියට ගන්න පුළුවන් common fact එකක්. මේක squares දෙකක difference එකක්ද තියෙන්නේ, trinomial එකක්ද තියෙන්නේ. බලද්දි පේනවා. But we should practice. Now you all have practiced the trinomial expressions. Trinomial නෙවෙයි කියලා පේනවා නේ. තුනක් නෙවෙයි. ඒ වගේ common fact එකක් තියෙනවද කියන එක අපි මේක practice කරගන්න. So do the fifth one from your level. Now you all can do the fifth one. That's all right then. The factorizing part is almost over. That means the 7th lesson is finished. Here what can we do? Don't take a huge time. Just see and tell me. What can we do? You can take the common factor out. What is the common factor? A is common. Only that? No, my dear. Here, this is divisible by 5. This is divisible by 5. So you can take 5 also. So you can take 5a as the common factor. If you take 5a as the common factor, here the remaining part will be only b square. Minus from 125, if you are taking 5 out, 125 divided by 5, it will be 25. And a has been taken out, okay, then c squared will be remaining, right? So again, you can identify there are squares. And 25 is there, so you can write down this 25 as a square, 5 square. So you can write down it 5a into b squared minus 5a squared and c squared, right? Now all the things you have as squares, so you can write it b minus 5c. And the other one you can write down b plus 5c. Right? Here in front of that we had 5a as the common factor. So keep it as the common factor. So the final answer will come 5a into b minus 5c into b plus 5c. That's all. Right. Take this down. Then, as homework, right? Finished. Now this part is over. As homework, you guys can try the exercise 7.3 and 7.4 both. Exercise 7.3 and exercise the textbook itself. Huh? These two you can try from your loop. Right? In this exercise 7.4, there is something more than these things. Just do it from your loop. Never තනියෙන් කරන්න ඕනේ. දැන් හිතලා තනියෙන් කරන්න පුළුවන්. දෙපැත්තේ ස්ක්වයර්ස් දෙකක් තියෙනවා වැඩි ගොඩ දාගන්න පුළුවන්. කල්පනා කරලා කරන්න. If there are some doubts, the best thing, just send me the question number. Just take a photograph of the question and WhatsApp me. I will teach how you can obtain the answer. But try from your own, right? That means don't see the examples in the textbook and all. I have told what are the things that you should follow. Now you know everything, so go through them. Now do the exercises, these two. Now, don't keep them to do on a way any other day. Do it now, right? So after that, after finishing it, if you have doubts, you can ask from me, right? So the next part that I should start is perimeter. So I'm not going to start it now, right? I'm going to do it after 2 days. That means not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. That means on Sunday or Monday morning. I'm going to do the perimeter lesson, right? That means the first lesson we started from binomials and we came to the seventh one. That means the algebraic part is over now. So then I'm going to start the lesson perimeter. So how we are going to find the perimeter, circumference of a circle, and arc length, and all those things. We are going to discuss it separately on Sunday or else on Monday, right? So I will let you know what is the time that we are going to conduct the class. So do these two things and ask me if you have any doubt from those things, right? Try from yourself, and after that, if you are not sure of the answer or something, if you have any doubt, you can ask from me, right? So that's all for today. Then see you on the next day. Stay safe and God bless you.